Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Capcom Podcast. I am Cameron.
I am Zap.
I'm Justin, I think. And this
Wow, you
is
think
Capgun, the
podcast.
podcast.
Third
Live.
season of its kind. Oh my
The
For
god.
third
anyone
season of
who's watching this, the day that it's coming out, at like the time's coming, it's live. So you could write comments.
That's what Anthony
You're
says.
gonna
Are
see
we?
them.
We're live. Every
It's
single
also Groundhog Day.
time. That's
live.
true.
So point to the groundhog.
Point to the ground. Well, we don't have the ground, but we'll keep them on our thoughts. But point to Justin for giving our points.
Did you say we don't keep a hog log?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a giver like that.
My marker? I just have my.
Oh no.
We're just gonna add red for today. There we go. Yeah, I mean, we have a big episode for today. A couple of cool topics to talk about. A great movie to talk about. But first, I need to bring up this because we actually have not all spoken together since the Oscar nominations came out, and just like quick roundup of like. What is one like? Give me like your like breakdown of like who was snubbed, who think was overhyped. What's your overall thoughts? I know Justin, you and I have spoken about the Oscars already a bit, but
Right, so we should probably hear from Seb.
here's the nominations, by the way.
Yeah,
if you
I know.
haven't heard about.
I say one movie that I guess I saw it getting nominated, but I think doesn't need an Oscar is Inside Out 2. Good movie, but I don't think it's needing to win something. I guess there's others. I don't know what is Nosferatu nominated for, but I think that is definitely a candidate. Also, I think Better Man would
Yeah.
be something I'd see worthy of winnings. Otherwise, I don't think Alien deserves an Oscar.
I mean, it's for visual effects one. It would Justin. What's your
Also, I don't think Dune Part 2 deserves an Oscar.
You don't. Okay, I think that's a controversial take. That I think
No.
I have a friend who's like
Baby
Dune Part 2
on
should
the
win
phone.
Best Picture, and I disagree with that.
What?
But you know,
I think Conclave also a good call for Best Picture.
Conclave was a great call. Justin, what's your thoughts?
The only one that like the one that like that got me in my little heart is the Japanese animated film Look Back wasn't nominated at least in the animated feature category. Because that movie's the bee's knees. Cried a lot.
Tell me how annoyed are you that not
This much,
did not
Cameron.
get how annoyed are you that an animated film did not get nominated for Best Picture again this year?
Well, I mean that's always going to be a thing, and I'm kind of resigned myself to it. There's a phrase like that sounds like that's apt for what I'm trying to convey here, but I was even going to just say that they're just not in any category. The animated films are just except for the one you were about.
Flow
to
was nominated for Best International Feature this year, which is
okay.
interesting
So,
call, right?
That's the other category that gets usually, a little cornered into itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you got some overlap this year. I think, like, I know there's a whole controversy going around with Emilia Perez right now. There's a controversy with The Brutalists. Although that one I think is on a very different level of controversy. I saw The Brutalists on Tuesday. It's a great movie. I know it's 3.5 hours, but it's so worth it. It's so worth the watch. I'm going with Leo and Seb on Tuesday, so we're gonna have a great time. But I was actually super surprised how much Emilia Perez got nominated. Like, I thought it was a good quality-wise movie, but not like 13 nominations-wise, quality-wise movie. And with movies like The Substance and Dune not getting a bunch of the nominations that I thought they would, like, I thought we'd be having a lot of movies this year that are like within that 8 to 10 range. And when we have a few of them, we don't have we don't have all of like there's 2 or 3 movies that have 5. Nora has 6. I know we're gonna have a nice little chat about the Oscars come Oscar Day. We get to do an episode on the day of the Oscars, which is super exciting. But yeah, I thought that should be kind of thought of. One more round of questioning. What is one film that you're surprised did not get nominated? I'll put my hat in the ring for Civil War. I thought that film should have been nominated for a couple of
Good
awards, and that was a big snub that got like not the nominations deserved this year.
Where's the I saw the TV Glow nominations. Am I right, gamers?
Sure enough.
Come on. Get your heads in the ring.
That would also been a good addition to the group.
And Jeffrey Spector's here. Yes.
Oh my
Jeffrey
god.
Spector in the house.
Yay.
Where are the comments?
Here are the comments. So, Seb,
I'd actually agree with you on Civil War. Otherwise, I can't really think of anything that I like. I have nothing specific on my mind that I would say would need to be there. Otherwise, I'd probably think of another animated movie. I guess that might be.
Which one though?
I don't know, because I don't think Inside Out 2 needs it that much. So maybe there might be something else that deserves it.
Maybe not. Maybe that's fair. I think though this year the best. Like I'm happy that Moana 2 didn't get nominated. I was so ready to expect that film to get nominated, and I was like,
okay, then I'm for Moana 2.
"You why?
For,
Just for the spite?"
yeah.
And I did see no other.
You're telling me that Inside Out 2 doesn't need it because it's good. You know, it's Pixar. So let's give it to Disney.
It's really not about Disney versus Pixar.
Company.
That's another podcast.
If it's about quality of movie, you don't have a debate there either.
I haven't seen Moana 2, so I couldn't even tell you.
It is.
I didn't like the first one. It's just like
that's sad. Because there's a big
You didn't
quality
like the
drop
first
off between
one.
1 and 2.
Oh boy.
So did Inside Out.
No, not to the same degree. What, you didn't even see the second Moana film? How can you make that distinction?
No, you said it has a quality drop off.
Yeah, because
So I said so did Inside Out because I saw those two.
yeah, but not like Moana 2 was not even made in the US. None of the original creative team came back from Moana 2. It's a whole different team. And it was a TV show that turned into a movie. You cannot talk about the same quality drop off.
Yeah. I think has there ever been a feature length The Office movie?
No.
They should make that into a movie.
I don't think they made a feature of
Because you know the German version of it
I know
got
they
movies.
did. But what
That's
does
why
that
I'm
have to do with the Oscar nomination that it didn't get?
No, I
The movie
think we're
doesn't
onto
exist.
something good here. This is a better topic. I like this.
That being said, what has everyone been doing these past 2 weeks? I know, Seb, you haven't been here for a month.
Yeah, I had a lot of work, and then I was sick in between, and now I got a whole bunch of free time, so I'll be here for the next 2 episodes at least. Damn.
Yahoo.
Ooh,
I'm excited.
fancy.
And Justin, I know I was on you did a stream a couple weeks, like a week ago or something like that.
Was a fun time.
That was fun.
Yeah, I've been keeping busy. That's the goal. That's the dream. A few months ago things were crazy, and just so much traveling and everything, and now things could just be chill. So
Point for Justin for chilling.
From private jet to private time.
And point for Seb for just getting healthy. Health is important.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Drink water out of my
Or coffee.
Capcom Productions water bottle.
or I don't
Out of Cameron's Paris 2024 Olympics.
Yeah, perfect. But let's jump right into this movie, I would say.
What Scribble says.
Scribbles says drink water. And,
Thanks, Scribbles.
and I agree. So, Justin, do you want to take it away with telling us about
Your
movie?
whatever.
Hello,
'Cause this
everyone.
is your
Well,
pick.
today the Capgun Productions podcast people watched the hit 2023 film, Past Lives. Past Lives is about a couple 12-year-olds at first in and South Korea. They're besties, and even they have that young vibe of like, yeah, we're awesome. We're gonna get married one day. We're so cutesy. We're gonna go on our like little dates, whatnot. But then, how you pronounce it? Not Young, who then becomes Nora. Her family moves away to America. So the what ifs that you could possibly conjure up in your head start arising of like, oh, what if this cute little couple stay together? And that's what our man lead was it Haesung is grappling with now as we jump farther into the future a couple times, and it's a movie about I'm working really hard in this camera, and I'm working so
Justin.
heckin'
I'm
hard.
so sorry. I'm actually, because I'm so blown out, I'm trying to turn down the light and I pressed on the wrong thing, and I apologize.
But you're blowing me away. In an attempt to turn back the clock a little bit and rekindle a connection, do they have what it takes to come back together? And is that even the right thing? Questions revealed in the hit movie Past Lives. What are you doing? Like,
do you see how blown out I am on this side? And I'm trying to figure out what it is. I think it's just the, yeah. The funny thing is, we just spoke about this after, like, right before we went on air.
He looks so fancy, doesn't he?
And it's
I got to do something with the middle here, but I was like, oh, I want this to go down, but I wanted to get rid of some of the.
Get yourself some twirls, like make it make like little piggy curls or something.
The emojis don't come up on here. Unfortunate.
That being said, I mean, Justin, I want to know your thoughts about this film, because I saw this film last February, like February of last year. So like I've known this movie for a while, and I love this movie. Oh no, 2 Februarys ago. Must have been February 22 or 23.
That would be 3 ago.
I mean, February 23.
That would make sense. That would make sense based on the year. Yes.
But I just want to know your thoughts, because you really wanted to watch this movie. What was your kind of like?
What was the
right? I went into this movie. I don't know why. I got in my head somehow that this movie was something about like, oh, we're gonna watch as a couple goes through their past lives, and when we see like just connections over a space of time. But that's all a theoretical aspect of the movie, which is also in itself very interesting. I thought this movie was pretty great. My dog's barking, and I can't mute right now because I'm talking. So hopefully we could that away. No, but I had a great
dog.
I love how miserable it could be at times. But like it's following the following the connection between you talk. I'm gonna just.
It's okay.
I mute my mic and then she stops. Or not. If you're gonna be a podcaster, you can have a dog. That's just.
I mean,
that's on me.
Just keep on going.
Point for me.
We really can tell your commentary through the roof.
Yeah, I'm making a big deal of nothing. For the funsies of it.
It gave me a point on the word.
We can rename Groundhog Day to me.
Anyone can get points these days.
Whatever. No, but I mean, I appreciate being able to jump through time and have a really authentic conversation about what it means to then look back and regret and think about these little things that could have changed over time and what it means to be destined partners, soulmates. I think, I'm glad we chose it as our Valentine's movie. And like, you'll have little moments where you have characters just being like, well, that's just not how real life works. And it really when you get to that point, it really hits and connects. I thought the movie was really great. How about y'all?
I mean the first time I watched it years ago, I cried like at
Mhm.
the end. I was done. I really love this movie.
Interesting.
It was one of my top 10 films of the Berlin Film Festival 23. It was one of my like bigger like snubs of the Oscars for 23, for 24. I've really loved this movie. I think it's so well done. I think the writing is so well done. I think the acting is so well done. And it's only 3 characters basically, right? Like you have the mom and mother's in there, but like they're small.
Yeah,
But like
really.
you have the 2 and then Nora's husband as like the other bigger character. It just 3 of them just nail it every single time. And it is like it is such a moving film that it is on my like top 10 films of all time list personally. So when you suggested, I was so happy. Yeah,
I'm glad I could see the glee well up inside of you. It was a magical time. And who doesn't love a movie about love? Or
heartbreak.
it's a movie about longing. More
Yeah,
so.
I think like that's one reasons why I love the movie, because I feel like it's a thing that's relatable to many in general. Also, I think the ending isn't the saddest part. I feel like the ending has some warming wholesomeness to it in a way, because like I feel it's more like in the end they can all like close the door on that chapter of longing and move on because it gave them that closing. Because like to me that movie also like the way it starts off with them separating, it ends up with them separating, so like they can put that behind them.
You know
I guess
what though?
we don't even need the spoiler bar at the bottom. We're already.
That's true. That kind of is a
Yeah.
big spoiler there.
Didn't you? Like,
No, I was
you
very.
said heartbreak, so like, and I said separating. I didn't even say
but
who.
but it's I said heartbreak because like the whole entire.
But I didn't even say who is separating.
That's fair, I guess.
The parents
All
of the neighbor of the.
Sure.
Point to
I
Anthony
guess
Quinn,
without
I'm
spoilers-
not involved in this bickering.
Let's get into the spoilers honestly, because at this point,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Beware.
now no one's gonna talk. I can go next.
I mean, I'm not done yet.
Sure, go ahead.
And to me, it feels like this movie. If it's already spoiled, spoil it more. No, but like what I want to say is, I feel it's relatable because to me the saddest part isn't the ending. It's more like when they start to chat again after finding each other on Facebook.
Mhm.
And then when he comes to New York and they walk around, because it's like they have this attachment to each other and this connection. But on the other hand, it's like they know that this isn't going to work. Like they have this connection, this deep bond, but they just know that it isn't meant to be. I feel like all the time. It's just like there is this tension, there's this spark between them that kind of like they look at each other that deeply, but like they know they will never act up on this. And it's just like, to me, that's like relatable because like I don't know, but I feel like we all been there, that you have like a person where like that's kind of like a person that I can relate to and that I can like open up to. But it's never meant to be like
you know
that.
what? The reason why I cry at the end is the reason why Nora cries at the end, I feel. And it's this idea of like the closure. Like I feel like not that it ever like was something or that it ever like would become something, but that like final conversation is like that closure that everyone in that situation needed, right? And it's like the release of just all these emotions that you carry with you throughout this whole entire film, that you're like, well, even though I'm happy in my current life and this was not meant to be, you're still kind of sad at the end of it, right? Like it's like this bittersweet moment of like being thankful for what you have, but also like this was like someone that you've been attached to for so long, and the future with that like friendship is uncertain, but you know what you know is that it's never going to be the thing that you once thought it was, and that ends in that moment for them, like officially, right? I think there's no turning back after that. After
There totally isn't.
after he leaves New York, right? And that's what I think it comes down to. I think they stay as friends, and they most likely will stay as friends. But her release is the release that I felt at the end, which is like this idea of like closure hurts, even if it's
Yeah.
like for the better, right? And even if it's something that's like been gone for a while, but it was still like it still only felt like closure in that moment. I think that's what the movie does so well, is that it builds up that rapport, and we know that it's been like over 20 years, and somehow they still build that rapport, and they still like come back together. And we opened up with, well, what is their actual connection? And we don't know until the end of the movie what that actual connection is. And I don't think they know until the end of that movie what that connection is. I think that's what makes it so powerful.
Yeah, but like that's what I also feel like where the husband is worried about, that they, like she and her husband, have an emotional connection, but the other two have the language and the like cultural heritage kind of
Sure.
relation that they share. So like it's because like that's what the childhood friend is all about. He's like living in these Korean standards that he puts on himself and that he tries to abide to, and is worried that he can't fulfill as a husband to his not girlfriend. And like she is so much more American, and she always is like she's like between two nationalities. Wouldn't it be cool to have a movie about that?
Shut up.
And that basically, I don't know, like she shares two different relationships with two different people, and I feel like she's too much American to share that emotional relationship with him that she has with her husband, because like she grew into that as well. Like she grew up with him, but then she moved somewhere else and grew again kind of and more, and therefore like grew into the relationship with her husband. So it's basically like she grew out of one to be in the other, and therefore there's no going back. And I also feel like her crying in the end is much more like, because like he was the one who was kind of like fixated on her in a way, because like he searched for her and everything, and he was kind of like in love with the image he had of her instead of with the person she is now. And therefore like her crying in the end is also kind of like him accepting that there's this not going to happen, and like kind of like happy tears that she can keep on with her life, but didn't lose him completely, but can move on, putting this thing to an end. So it's kind of like a melancholy but also happy thing.
Yeah. Just what are your thoughts on this?
Please.
I guess we're having someone
Wow,
visit, which I wasn't expecting.
There's so much noise in this episode. It's crazy. 1 point for the doorbell.
So much noise for a movie that's so
calm and quiet. Yeah, wild.
But
Who was at the door?
I have no idea. Someone was yelling, and someone was like audibly drunk.
Cool. All right. So someone drunkenly rang my doorbell, interrupting our podcast. So if that person is watching this, congratulations, you found me.
I know that
Maybe
back
it's your-
wall from the window.
soulmates.
Justin, what's your
Maybe
give
it
What's
us
was
the
your
like-
term again?
what?
The Korean term
Oh,
for the people.
the young or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 8,000 layers of connection with that person, Cameron. You don't even know it.
I don't even know. It's like the 4,000 connection is this.
It's like an onion of emotions.
I think it's so easy to get swept up in the majesty of like a fantasy romance, of this person could be everything, and there's a sense of letting that go, letting a fantasy like go on its way at the end when they're separating, but there's also an element of I'm sure Nora's feeling the weight of, I couldn't be the person that, he envisioned me to be because I have, the life that I have. But I also like the life that I have. But it doesn't mean I want him to be upset. He's someone who meant a great deal to me. And, the leaving off with this concept of we're the past lives for what comes next is pretty hefty.
Yeah.
The crying destroyed me, that's for sure.
At the end,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that broke me. That whole ending breaks me. It's like it wears you down very slowly, and especially when the husband and him have that conversation at the end, and it's like this idea of like, did he come to take her away? Most likely, but I think everyone realized what was
That it's
best.
not gonna
that- Yeah,
happen.
that's not gonna happen, right? And
Mhm.
it's such a powerful moment.
And that's why I feel like the point where they decide to stop talking like via video chat is the sadder scene, because at that point you're in the middle of it and there isn't the other connection that is her husband. So like it's like giving something up because it's not the right time and it's not going to happen because their lives don't align. And it's like, yeah, we'll talk at a later point, and you don't know when the later point may come, and it's another 12 years. So there definitely was enough time for it maybe to never happen again at that point. And I just feel like in the end, when they're crying, it's like that he's come to like take a last shot at that and take her away or whatever. But like from the relation she has with her husband and everything we've seen at that point,
Mhm.
you kind of know that it's not going to happen. So I feel like the first part where they break it off while you have all that tension, all that rekindled emotion between them, is like the sadder part, because that's something that actually like happens more often than that weird triangle of whatever that
I guess my biggest thing is just like I feel like
Like, at
she
least to
just
me, it's more
cuts it
relatable.
off, and you're just like, oh, like it
but they are
comes so
both visibly
quickly.
hurt by cutting it off. Like they don't want to cut it off, but they do it because it gets in between their like
Their
it
regular
becomes a
lives,
point
yeah.
that if they don't act on it now, then it's just like hindering their everyday lives in a way, because like they both switch up their schedules to talk to each other whenever they can, but like
I guess I don't know. I just feel like
it just doesn't work out that way, and therefore like I feel like that is much more like relatable, at least to me, than oh yeah, I have this happy life with my husband, and then there's this other guy. But maybe we're just all not wanted enough to have multiple people fly half around the world for us.
I don't know. I feel like that moment is very sad. I just, especially because I think it's so quickly then switches pace,
Mhm.
right? I think the pacing of we then go to the retreat, and then she has the first conversation with her who becomes her husband, and then we cut to 12 years later, like right after that. It's like, oh, this movie keeps going. And it feels like that innermost cave, like that like midpoint moment, right? Like I think it's done at like this is a midpoint part of the film. We're supposed to feel sad, and then we kind of push forward, and then I don't know. Did you guys hope that they would come together, or did you hope that they would not? Like I keep like the first time I watched, I think I hope that they stayed together. The second time I came with it thinking I don't want them to stay. I don't want hoping that they come back together. The second time I was like, I'm happy that she doesn't. And then this time I kind of think I felt the same way.
The
But
moment she finds someone else, I don't want her to break up with this person to, take that chance on this guy that she kind of knows. And most of their connection is about nostalgia,
right.
Yeah, I feel like nostalgia isn't a base for a good relationship, because
Mhm.
a relationship is about like going into the future together and facing the challenges that life throws at you together. But if you base that relationship on the past and on
Mhm.
memories instead of what is going to be, then it's always like, how will you plan for the future if you're living in a past image? I don't know.
Right.
And
Definitely.
therefore, like, that's also like they come together and separate like 3 times. The first time as children, and then they separate in that way, and then they come together again, and then they separate, and then they meet a 3rd time. And like, even the whole imagery the movie makes it's always like, it's kind of like the same, because like she leaves to get somewhere else and elevate herself, and he stays at his level and lives his life, kind of thing. Like she always changes when they leave. Like, for example, she wants to achieve different things, she wants to get to another level, reach some, like the way they ask, like he always asks her what prize she wants to win now or something like that, and she always has something else to happen. Like first it's she goes to America to achieve was it Nobel Peace Prize or Nobel?
Yeah.
Like at least some Nobel Prize. And she emigrates again and changes up herself and becomes like a new person with a new name. Then she moves somewhere else and meets another person and changes up the way she lives and gets husband and everything. So, and then in the end she leaves again, or like closes the door on that chapter of her life to live a happy and like whatever the word is,
Fulfilling, I guess.
fulfilling marriage. Yeah, like
Yeah.
she completely decides on her marriage and on her husband, because like before that the husband wasn't even sure, like, what is this, is she really fulfilled with this? And in the end, like, he knows that she chose him and it's a secure bond between them. So I just feel like also like the imagery in the end when he goes left to go to the car and he stays on the level and she walks up the stairs again with her husband. It's like in the first scene where he walks down and she goes up the stairs to her
Right.
house. So it's like
yeah.
all this imagery is kind of like the same, and therefore I just feel like it's about kind of like the past lives that they have, like the multiple times they meet. It's like different ages are kind of like different steps of life, because like the person you are as a grown-up is totally different from the worldview and the things you have as a child. So like them as children are different people than they are when they're grown up, because the time between the meeting is just so long.
Yeah.
I think the word bit is probably the most telling thing in the movie about to drive home the points, being that it was so, natural at first. The first time it happened, he was kind of just overhearing something that she said, and he really latched onto it, and then brought it up again the second time they were hanging out, 12 years later. And she did have an answer for it, and like he's like, oh yes, lock this in, this is our thing now. 12 more years later, goes for it again, and she doesn't have an answer. There's this like slight, like, I don't know, discomfort where it's kind of like, it's kind of forcing it, right? Where it's like, oh no, this is our thing. So what's your new award? That's he has this idealized, like, oh, this is this magical, like, one little extra thing that's going to add to the success of really tying in this this beautiful, nostalgic what if scenario. And she's just like, I don't know, dude. And like, yeah, she's like, it's not a thing on her mind, but he does have this vision of what she is and what the version of her that he's thought of, what she would want, and this is their thing together. And she's just like,
Do we think he left the girlfriend for Nora? Like, is that what happened, or do we just think it's just coincidence?
That's like the unknown part, because like he just says that they are on a break because they were planning to marry, and then they kind of like needed some time. And I just don't know if like she actually said she needed time because she maybe felt that he was still holding out for something, or that he said like, yeah, I'm holding out for something, and before we get married I need to close a window on this. And I mean, we don't know what happens to him after we just know he goes back. Maybe he has at that point then made his choice, like, yeah, okay, this isn't happening, I tried my last time to fulfill my vision that I have in my head, and if that doesn't work, I'll close that and like settle for someone else. Because maybe in the end what he's looking for is that Korean girl teen that he met when he was young,
Right.
like from the mentality, but which she isn't anymore, because she moved to Canada and America, and she's just so westernized at that point that she isn't as Korean anymore as he kind of maybe wants from life. So in the end, if he then settles for his then girlfriend in Korea, he might just get that because he dropped that weird rose tinted glasses that he had for her in the end, you know?
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like he realized that idealizing a person isn't going to work, because if you live with that idealized image, you will not move forward and
No.
develop.
Yeah, that's Justin, thoughts?
No, yeah, I think that's a really interesting view of it that I wasn't even really considering for some reason, but I think that angle is really, really cool because if he speaks in the movie about how with his girlfriend's or sort of not, his on again, off again girlfriend back at home, that he's not living this idealized version of what he wanted, where he's like the big breadwinner guy and this masculine kind of ideal kind of scenario, and things aren't going perfectly the way he was envisioning, and he's lived out that reality. But then he comes to see Nora and in hopes that he gets to live out a very different reality that goes a more idealized route, and that's all his relationship with Nora has been idealization and imagining the perfect life that they could have lived together. But if they did stay together earlier on in the movie, they would have had their own issues, and that illusion would have been broken at a different
Well,
point
that's
in
what she says. Like, what would have happened, right? Would we have stayed together? Would we have broken up, right? And that's like kind of the whole like ending of the film is like this whole idea of this like the hope. I think both of them had that hope, especially for the first like while. I think towards the second half of the film, I think she loses it a bit, but I don't think she loses it entirely, right? I think there is some sort of truth in the fact that she's like still kind of looks at that what if and goes, what if that was actually the case?
I mean, the part where they rekindle and chat all the time, you see that they both like develop emotions and feelings towards each other, but like she realizes pretty soon that where she is like, yeah, we need to break this off, because like all I'm doing at work is staring at flights to Seoul and when to go and see you. And she knows that isn't happening because it's one like a money thing and also like a time thing, and she has stuff to do, and at that point she's still young in her career and wants to achieve things, and therefore
I don't even think it's a money thing.
But it's
I think it's purely the idea of like she has this goal in her life, and I think by the end, like, and I think the bigger part of this is like, I think neither of them knew what they wanted in life.
Yeah, but like she is in the US on like a work visa, and if she goes back and stops working in the US, then she maybe isn't able to go back to the US. That's why in the end she married her husband because she needed the green card.
But I mean, like,
yeah, the thing is, if she goes to visit him and breaks off her job in America, then she's leaving behind all her life in America. And the thing is, maybe she's not ready to do that yet. And he goes like, yeah, from Korea, I'm now going to China to learn Mandarin. And therefore, like, she's not even like, if she keeps holding him back, if she goes to Korea now and starts off something with him, because like then he wouldn't do what he wants to do, she would lose something that she really likes, which is American living in New York as a writer. So like in the end, it's just like not working for them to do it that way, and therefore like you need to swallow that and be realistic. And she's being realistic where he keeps on living with that image,
right?
And that's why like she's always elevating and he kind of like stays in the past.
Yeah, I think he stays in the past. I also just think he's complacent in his right. It's like this idea of like staying in your comfort zone or leaving it. And I think that's the other thing is like the one time he goes out of his comfort zone is to visit her.
Yeah.
24 years later.
Definitely.
I think that's the moment where it's just too late. Right? It's like, if anything, this relationship, he should have made that move 12 years earlier.
Yeah, he should have gone there to her when she was like, yeah, I'd be going to your place as well, but I just can't make that. And he would be like I'm coming to New York and I learn Mandarin there or something like that. It's not like you couldn't learn Mandarin in New York City.
And I think that's what she finds in her husband is this idea of always pushing forward and always
Yeah.
trying to do better and always trying to do new. I think that's part of the conversation that they have later is like his whole motivation behind why he wants to learn Korean, It's
to
because-
understand her and get her and connect more.
but not just that, it's to understand her dreams.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the whole thing. It's like he's on that such a deep level. He's trying to push forward and push forward and push forward. And she just and Nora does the same. And I think that's part of it, is like I think that's like this idea of like pushing forward versus your comfort zone. And it's these like two people that converge when they were, I think it was 9 years old, 8 years
Yeah.
old.
Something like that.
And they keep by chance meeting back together, but they're only connected by this nostalgia bond, but they're just so different that it somehow never truly works out because both have their own life and both are kind of happy with their own life. So
And it's also, I feel like, a thing of like how they met, because when they were children, they met because the mother was like, yeah, hey, you like someone and I want to make happy memories. And the parents kind of arranged them dating and basically forged that bond between them. And
Their
she
fault.
and her husband are together because of life circumstances, facing challenges together. And in the end, they marry because that's what is like life is throwing at them, and that
I guess.
they married earlier than they might have planned to, because they kind of needed to stay together, and that was a challenge that they faced and chose to, like a choice they chose to make. And therefore I feel like those two relationships in itself are totally built and have their foundation on different aspects. The one is like that thing of like, oh yeah, we're sweethearts and everything is happy because it's based on a naive level of being together, and the other one is based on life and the challenges of that they
Right.
need to overtake in general. So like they came together at a point where it was about staying together and facing life together, and the other one was just like life is a playground.
dancing through life,
Okay, cool. I like that.
skimming the surface. All right, Justin got it. You didn't, so that's on you.
Yeah.
Doing the whole Wicked thing.
I think that's
Oh.
a movie that deserves an Oscar.
Your best picture winner, Wicked. Whoa.
What? But I think
I
with
mean,
that,
I'd give it for music.
did it even get nominated for music?
Didn't it? I thought it did.
I know Do not getting nominated for music was a
It's
snub.
original score.
Was it okay? But that's different altogether. Anyway, I think it's time to
You know,
Rate
rate that
movie.
movie.
Movie?
Movie.
Movie.
Movie. All right, Justin, what do you think?
10,000.
What? Apples, oranges, horses.
I had to choose between those
sorry,
three.
Leo, the German math teacher
I had
comes
to
through.
choose between those three. I'm going with horses
10,000.
because this raced right past the finish line.
Oh, okay.
It was not clever. It's just visualizing it, you know. Just
Stay grounded. I'll be grounded. I gave it a 9 out of 10, a 4.5 out of 5. I love this movie. This is yeah.
To stay with the Mario sound references, I give it a 7 out of 10 coins.
First of all, that's a low rating, in my opinion, for this movie.
Would you agree with me that in some way this is Korean movie that is kind of dramatic?
Are you gonna call this a K-drama?
No, I'm not going to call it a K-drama.
I said call it a K-drama.
Yeah, but I said I'm not going to call it a K-drama by calling it a K-drama. But I feel like I've seen Korean movies that I like more that are in a similar fashion. That's why I'm giving a 7 out of 10.
All right, fine. I disagree with you, but fine.
K-drama boy.
I brought up a new for the section this week, our topic of the week this week, which the topic of the week
Is Raid Bad
no, it's
Movie
not.
Couple.
Shadow Legends. Raid.
Uh,
Oh, it was
Ray,
Raid.
Ray Shadow Legends, yes.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Guys, we get rid of that logo here. And we don't need your money anymore because we got Raid Shadow Legends.
Jeez,
Thanks, Raid Shadow Legends.
I even got my own personal hero.
All right,
It's
I'm gonna just
called
do it.
Camera.
All right. I wanted, and I wanted to do more thought into this before coming on today, and then I didn't. Who is the best movie couple in a movie? Like, and I don't even know what that
me
means.
couple in a movie.
I just want to ask that question.
Ooh.
And so the next 15
When we
minutes,
say movie couple, do we mean a couple as characters, or do we also
characters
mean
in the
like
movie.
actors in a movie that make a good couple?
Characters in the movie.
So we're not being like Tom Holland and Zendaya or a good movie couple.
Correct. We're not. Well, no, we're not saying that.
I mean, even though the characters are a movie couple, like they are
Correct.
also a couple.
Yeah, but is that a good movie couple? Like, does the Spider-Man MJ portrayed by Zendaya and Tom Holland, are they a good couple? Because I would almost say that the on again, off again shenanigans of Paul Atreides and I forget her name now from Dune 2 is
Zendaya.
yeah. It's hello Mia. Point for Mia for being adorable.
Oh my god. Oh, no Frenching on camera, please. Thank you.
Like who am I thinking
Oh
of?
my god, that's
Like,
so cute.
this one really just got like I just really thought about this one. Bradley Cooper and
La La Land?
yeah, no.
Wrong
And Lady Gaga in A Star Is Born.
Oh.
I thought that's a very good like this
Wrong
was
movie.
what?
Yeah, I got the wrong movie.
You got the wrong movie. I remember those Oscars when they performed the song live, and I had someone say to me, like, without fail, like no stop to the beat is like, oh, they're like in love. I'm like, no, that's good acting. But I want to talk about like some like who are some really dope.
Whatever.
What? You're just staring? What's happening here?
We just got hold a note off camera that was written so tiny and just for like a
Oh no,
glimpse of a
I read
second-
it. I read it. It didn't make it better.
Inform the audience, inform the
Leo
audience.
wanted to put Shrek and Fiona into the ring of.
Honestly, not a bad choice.
That's good stuff.
Mine would have been also like I have 3, but one would have been Jack and Rose from Titanic because like I feel like that's a classic.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I would also say the couple like the from Avatar because like they basically rebel against a lot of stuff. So
Okay, so because they
They
rebelled.
do-
yeah, but like
They
they
do that.
found a bond in the family and then they moved somewhere. Like they faced a lot of challenges and grew with it.
I
I
guess.
feel like it's not iconic, but it's a good representation of a couple that faces challenges. I don't know.
The Challengers? What?
No. I forgot what my third was. Maybe you continue.
I don't know if this. I mean, this is a couple, but they do break up at the end. But the couple in La La Land is also pretty stellar. I don't know. I Justin, you have said nothing so far in this
Oh, yeah.
conversation.
I give Justin another 30 seconds by telling my number 3. Oh,
and he leaves.
what's the dog doing?
What does the dog say? Woof, woof,
That's
woof,
not
woof,
for
woof,
me.
woof.
I was
Okay. Well,
yeah, my
now
number
that-
3 is the girl and the guy with the mask from V like Vendetta.
V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta, yeah.
Okay. All right, Justin.
Now
come
that
in.
the floor is open to me, since you so kindly called upon me, I'll have you know that 2 couples that come to mind are 2 Spider-Man couples that are
Tobey
1,000
Maguire.
times better than the one you already mentioned. Actually,
Yeah, I agree. I
mean-
think I know one of them. You mean the Miles Morales and
that's one of them.
I
So
forget her name. Glenn
um,
is her name? No, right?
yeah, no, Gwen
Gwen.
Stacy and Miles
Gwen Stacy.
Morales across the Spider-Verse. 2 interdimensional
Leo, do
star
you want to join the
crossovers.
conversation?
I don't know.
Huh?
Because Leo keeps like writing notes and then wanting to give them to us, and I'm like, well, do you just want to join the conversation?
Yes,
if you have
please.
something to say?
You can come and share the screen with us. It's not an issue.
So you have Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy.
Oh,
and who else?
intergalactic star-crossed lovers who bring to the table exactly what the other needs in a way that they also have this forbidden element to the romance. They can't. It's so angsty and good, and who knows if they'll even end up together. It's magical, but also the universe foretells that even beyond the fact that there's forces in their present sense trying to keep them apart, there's also this rule of the universe that they can't be together, but also they're piecing it out, feeling each other out, but you could tell that there's these sparks immediately whenever they're together. Other Spider-Man couple that's better, the ultimate one in terms of just ooey gooey nonsense, is Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The good part of that movie. Don't look at the other parts. Don't even think about those other parts of the movie. But the romance is adorable. Every single second that those two are on screen is warm and loving and fun, and they have this amazing chemistry together. Like, it is dazzling. I'll rewatch that movie and bear with everything else in the movie because they are so good together. It is insane. It feels really great.
I mean, also don't forget about Peter Parker and Dr. Octavius. I mean, they had chemistry together.
Like in a science.
No.
That's good. That's all right. I forgot what I said. Yeah, point this out.
What other non-Spider-Man
Or not.
couples?
Yes, please, some more non-Spider-Man couples.
More
I
spider
mean-
couples. More spider.
I mean,
This hurts. This conversation. I already regret this conversation.
I'd say
And I proposed it. I proposed things and then
A
ruined
proposal
my God.
around Valentine's Day.
and then-
Oh my gosh.
the camera doesn't show yet.
Hi.
Hey.
Well, we have officially gone off the rails.
I would say
Did.
maybe Justin, you've seen Lord of the Rings, don't you?
I've seen what?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
No, I'm not bothering with that.
The point
I mean,
for-
Cameron has seen it once, and just because he needed to.
I wanted to. We planned a day here and had brunch. And
Did
had-
you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it.
You
Yeah.
suffered through it.
Didn't the only suffering that there was the fact that this whole apartment becomes a hot box if you have more than 3 people in here for 12 hours straight watching movies.
Fair play.
Like that's the
makes
only
sense.
reason why I was not amused.
But
Every other reason I loved.
But
the
an
day.
iconic movie couple, somewhat on movie love interest, is Aragorn and Galadriel.
That's true. Yeah.
Also, every Hallmark movie ever. I mean, the people in Hallmark movies always make a happy, overly peachy couple.
Towards the at the end, at least.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'll say it. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde in Zootopia. I know we're all thinking it. I
Thank
know
you.
we're all thinking it.
That actually
chemistry
was on my
off the
list at some
charts.
point.
I don't actually hate that pick. That's the worst
Yeah,
part
I
about
only
that
make
pick.
good picks.
I don't
I'm not
actually
gonna make
hate
a
that
not
pick.
good pick. I'm putting my life on the line here. This is the internet.
Yeah,
I
because
don't even want to do a Disney one, but like it's obvious. I mean,
Stop it! You want to do a Disney one? That's a lie.
I'm
How about, like,
I'm fairly
Tangled?
indifferent in that sphere.
How about the Rapunzel and Tangled and Finn? That's a fun couple.
Flynn? That's a good one. For
Out of like
that
all of the
sphere.
animated films, I feel like that's my favorite.
I think that's a good pick.
Like, but
How
who else do
about-
you take? Who else do you take from the Disney films?
From the if you're doing Disney,
Like Disney princesses, who are we taking? Like Rapunzel.
listen. People could Stockholm syndrome conversation it all day, which is a bit nonsense. But Belle and Beast.
I will get to that in a moment.
Thank you again,
Justin.
Seb, for the commentary in the comments. Justin is not. Justin is not doing that. Um, Belle and Beast do
I like
have really
Scribble's,
strong back
take
and
on that.
forth and
That's-
evolution in their relationship. I think that's always going to be a strong
Actually,
pick.
not
Classic
bad.
Gru and
That's
Lucy.
a classic right there.
Despicable
I
Me.
really like that. Actually.
There you go. Okay. Stick with me here. How about Evelyn and Waymond and Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Sure.
They're
That's-
such
yeah.
cuties. They're such
Yeah.
cuties. And they're across the maybe it's just like about across dimensions to me that's in my brain right now. But
It's like in almost every
these
parallel
these
universe,
grounding forces
they
she didn't realize that she needed across dimensions, and all they needed was to do laundry and taxes together.
And I mean, if your relationship survives laundry and taxes, then
then you win. You
Yeah.
win. You win. You win life.
that's the
That's
two
how it
challenges
goes.
of everyday life, man.
It's about the mundanity,
Like, at
exactly.
this point, I want to propose Wally and
Yo,
I just wanted to say that a second.
because like
Wally and Eve. That's a
Yeah.
fantastic
movie,
one.
so
I wanted to say that as well.
Such
as
a
my
good.
second.
That's actually a really good one.
That's a really great one.
Pixar does make some very good couples.
Have we said any queer couples yet this entire time? I'm assuming no, right?
Not really.
So.
Well, oh well.
well,
No.
Are they a couple? And I saw the TV Glow.
No.
I haven't seen this movie in like a year, so like
No.
my thoughts are really hazy on that film. I feel like they're not because like there's a pretty decent age gap. It's a
I think
really
it's 2 years, 3 years. They went to school
2 years?
together. I mean,
yeah, but I thought she was like a senior and he was a freshman.
so 3 years max. Sure. I either way, I don't think that was ever meant to be.
That wasn't romantic, right?
I'm
Someone
pretty.
tell
I'm
me. Again, I haven't
pretty
seen
Any
it in a
sure
while.
ideas
the
for
younger
queer
one's
movie
supposed to be.
That's what I'm thinking right now.
ace-ish.
That one queer couple in the new Beauty and the Beast that got the movie canceled in China. Let's go.
I mean, if
That has a 2-second screen time.
If I type in best queer couples,
Best
movies,
comment
do I get
from
anything
Leo-
that, like, I
from Leo,
care
that
about?
gay dementia movie I've seen, and I'm like, a movie about gay people and dementia. I
Ooh.
totally forgot about that one.
I gotta do my own research because I know plenty of queer couples in TV shows, but I look up queer
I
Yeah, I
can think of
feel
TV
couples
shows.
in
but I
movies.
don't really think of movies.
and I see like nothing that I even like can at least personally recognize,
You know what? We're all prude. Like
or
film
at least that I
industry
care
prude.
about. Because like, yeah, Love Simon happened, and I'm like, I guess there was a romance in that movie, maybe. I
Isn't
don't
that
know.
whole movie a romance film? Isn't that the whole
Which
bit?
one?
Love Simon.
It's
You're like,
but
I
it's more
guess there
about the
was
personal
romance.
struggle than it is about romance. There's kind of a thing by the end, spoiler alert, I guess. But like it's not like you're not meant to be blown away by the romance or anything. That's not really the goal of the film. There's you got I saw Moonlight, and that's like another one that's more about personal struggle than about like
Yeah,
getting to
that
actually
cou-
care about a
that- yeah.
romance. Like yeah, like, you know,
That
I'm
couple
sure there's
doesn't
ones that I
slap.
just don't know. I mean, there's Call Me by Your Name, and that's just a very different beast of a film to dive
Mhm.
into.
Mm,
The ending of that movie hits though.
yeah, but not for the right reasons. I feel like, in that sense.
I was like,
After watching that movie, I didn't want to eat peaches for a while. I'll be honest with you.
grow up. Actually, I think I was like 18 when that came out, right? And then
Yeah, and I then was what was I? I then must have been like 15 or 16. I was a prudish little boy. Prudish little life. What was he doing with that peach? I didn't want to know. We
yeah,
got
it's
there.
a real mystery. It's a real mystery. That's
It
what
almost got
the
Leo
movie-
to
you know that's
spit out
it's
his water
technically
on you.
considered a mystery movie when you look up like the labels of the movie. Is nominated for best mystery picture at the Oscars.
Because that's Academy. Murray.
Ah,
jeez.
I just looked at a list and I found a gay couple in a Hitchcock movie, and I was like, interesting.
Were they the good guys?
The movie started off with the murder of one of the classmates, but in general, they were a queer couple in the Hitchcock movie, which
Dope.
is
Anyway, Hitchcock was a dope dude. He just kind of chilled. He was like,
yeah, the movie's called
I
Rope.
don't
Isn't that dope?
care. I don't care about anything that all you people say in your norms. That was not a great Hitchcock impression. It was a Hitchcock impression, I guess, but you know. That being said, I think we are gearing towards the end of our episode today on that weird note.
when you saying that being said, that happened exactly on the 1 hour mark, like
Perfect.
exactly, and I'm like,
Perfect.
whoa, that's crazy, dude.
Do we have any other last couple thoughts?
Last couple thoughts? No.
Yes, and like
Couple thoughts about couples. Watch Severance, because every couple in that is fantastic and messy.
I still need to watch it. I'm waiting for my friend to come back from Portugal, and then I'm gonna watch it with her.
If you haven't today, hug your partner, and if there's anything that's on your mind, talk about it. And counseling is always an option.
This is not what I meant, but you know, here we are.
Stay happy, guys.
I might start ranting on Instagram about Oscars because I'm getting annoyed about some of these.
Cameron, it was so full of hate on Valentine's Day.
You and the Oscars.
It's not
need some counseling
Valentine's
as well.
Day.
This is our Valentine's Day episode, Cameron. Until the podcast is over, it's Valentine's Day.
But our next episode is also a Valentine's Day episode, even though it's after
Because it's
Valentine's Day.
actually closer to Valentine's Day than this episode.
It's the month of Valentine.
Well, why them Valentines get a whole month? My birthday's only 1 day. Not fair.
This is the month of February.
Oh, that
What
means that
else-
we are
Fabulous.
we are
What-
2
what-
days away from our podcast anniversary.
That's true. How about that?
Podcast anniversary?
Yeah, that means we've been doing this for a year.
In 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we could choose
Like
it.
crazy, right?
How do I get a flower bouquet to just
I
you
might
in
actually
2
post
days?
something. All right. Anyway, I think the actual last one that I'll say is now that the Oscar nominations come out, go watch movies. 35 feature films were nominated. A lot of them are still in theaters. Some of them are already on streaming. I have handed in a little checklist that I always get from people that you can't see here, and I check them off. I only have
Wow.
like
Neat.
Isn't it?
I only have 12 movies left on here, so like we're rolling. Like just go watch movies. Movies are fun, and that's if you yes there's a movie about a gay couple. Was he, or is he just gay? I don't remember. I mean, he is gay, but like, are we talking about his life or the movie?
I don't know if he played a gay person in the movie or if he's just
And
gay.
the movie called
But
the
go watch the
2022
go watch the
movie.
movies.
Spoiler alerts.
Sorry.
That's what's being referred to there. The 2022 movie
Thank you.
spoiler alerts.
But yeah, go watch the movies. And also go watch the movies that you maybe wouldn't watch, like your international features and your documentaries, because those can also be good. All right. With that being said, thanks so much, guys, for watching another episode of the Capcom Podcast. I'm Cameron,
I'm sad.
I'm Justy Wusty.
and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.